when to raise money. If obviously you want to build a big business, but the right time to raise money is when you need to fulfill an order, period. Buying is so easy, selling is not. Sort of first job which I did, selling ADT security system, door knocking residentials. I'm talking about like 25 years ago. So my team leader told me this: SW, 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 who's next? Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? I've asked this question to trillions of retailers. Okay, if I sold you at $45 and said bye-bye, or if I sold you at $55 and came here Friday and Saturday and did a tasting and did this and that for you and did this and that for you, what would you prefer? They will say 55 any day. Hey folks, this is Sid Patel, CEO of Beverage Trade Network and Bartender Spirits Awards. I have here Jeff Bradford. He's starting an import company. He's really passionate about bringing amazing producers like you, especially overseas producers, telling their stories in the US market. And this conversation is really about, what is he thinking? And if I can add any 2 cents based on my experience, we're just going to go live and chat about it, Jeff. So thanks for asking me. Appreciate the opportunity here.
No, thank you, Sid, for really taking your time and allowing me to share my story and my questions, and you providing your expertise in this. I'm very grateful. So thanks for the opportunity.
Great. I saw your profile. I mean, you have produced amazing high quality content, so it looks like, that's what you did for the living a little bit, or maybe it was your hobby. Why don't you give us your background and then, what step are you at this phase and why the import business?
Yeah. So I'm going to take you back to 2017 when I was retiring from the US Army. I was trying to figure out what I want to be when I grow up. And I was always passionate with the art and science of beer, wine, and spirits. So I sold everything that I owned and went and traveled the world to learn from what I thought were the best minds in the industry. And in return, I would tell their story. So that was the thanks for giving their time. Let's fast forward a little bit to around COVID. Obviously, that halted all my travels. And I was trying to figure out, how do I take the next step? What can I do during this time where I can't really travel? Travel is very limited. So I went over and got my master's of science in brewing and distilling from Harrod and Watt to understand more of the science of it. After that, I kept producing videos from 2022 to today. But the interesting thing is I started doing collaboration distillations and listening to my audience more about what they wanted when they watched these episodes. And they were like, Jeff, it's amazing where you're at, but I would love to try these products out. So instead of waiting years and years and looking back and saying, what if, I'm taking that step forward and starting an import company and bringing all these amazing bottles that I try, bottles that I'm making and collaborating with to the US market. And I every day ask myself, the question of, this is really, really harder than I thought. It's easy to say, but I'm eager to take the next step, but I do need some help. And that's why I reached out to you.
Great. Appreciate it. So I think you told me, that you were looking to form an import business, or it's already, what stage are you in?
Yeah, right now I'm getting the licenses in the state of Texas. So I'm getting state and federal compliant at the moment.
Perfect. So you would be able to sell in Texas directly to the retail, and you would be able to import an out-of-state shipper's license, let's say, right?
Yeah, exactly. And my primary objective right now, or for at least for the first year or two, is to utilize my video assets and online tools and sell direct to consumer. And as I started looking at everything, I thought it would be in my best interest to partner maybe with a third-party company that is already compliant and has the foundation and infrastructure set. So right now I'm looking to partner with a third-party tech company to handle like the Shopify backend on my website, and then also looking to partner with a warehousing company, obviously to bring products in that I'm making and selecting around the globe.
Cool. So let's go right into the questions Q&A, sort of a little rapid round we can do.
And like I said, the first one is the one that I've been pondering the most, is because you guys just heard my story, is that I highlight passionate distillers around the globe and pair each product with a video and story. My question is, do you recommend launching with multiple categories at once, to showcase the diversity and again, what I do in traveling the world and highlighting these passionate distillers around the globe? Or should I focus on one core product that I can scale production to build a strong foundation for the business?
I still always would believe that start small. Especially, I mean, given the context of the room here, which is, we know we have limited money. We know it's just one man show. We know that, we want to stay thin. And at the same time, we know the most important thing, which is a sell through, a depletion, like proven case, you have to prove on one product at least. So I'll give you my case on why one, let's say. And just to give you a context, I don't know, Jeff, how much you know about me personally, but my origin story, I also have built brands, like I knocked doors. So do you know that?
Yeah. No, I follow you pretty closely. And,
okay. So
yeah.
Exact approach, what I did is literally, and still, I still have a new gin brand that I came up with as well. So what I do is it's better to come up with just one or two main one, which has a tailwind. Okay. Not a headwind.
Okay.
So if I'm launching any new SKU right now, I would definitely do a research. First of all, what happens is a lot of people are emotional and they are the makers. But when we step into the business, we are in the real business world, which is like sales, business, all that is the other skills that are needed, right? So understanding your customer, having a tailwind and so on. So let's say, that's why I told that, okay, let's select whiskey, which is a good thing, and tequila, which is perfect. So in your case, I think you told me that you had a whiskey which is aged in tequila barrels or something. That is great. That's amazing, right? Let's say. So that one product is good. Now, no point bringing in gin or vodka or this and that right now. So what will happen is, number one, you will need money to do inventory, which we don't have. So let's say, I'm assuming we are putting our own capital of 4 pallets here. Let's say maybe 50,000 is our budget. So based on all these things, it's best to start one. And it's you who is going to knock the doors. Even we can't afford a sales rep. Like you will impossible that you want to even hire a sales rep because they're just going to quit because the product is so new that they won't get traction. So even if you try on commission basis, you won't find reps. So it's literally you knocking the doors, you buying the inventory, you proving the case study and whatnot, right? So answer is one. I think you have a lot of advantages in you, to be honest. Texas, a very strong market. Category, tequila, bourbon, super strong. You being, your story is amazing, like ex-vet distiller, So it's all plus there, right? So I think you have a very strong sort of market category and you yourself. So that those are the things, like some people even don't have that. Like, what if you had a Canada as a market, let's say, right? So you are in a very great spot. So I think pick that category just because of the cash flow and proven record and stick with that and then sort of knock doors there. That's my advice, and then build from there. So what happened to me is once my brand got like traction, the hesitation from a buyer was zero. Like I bring in anything. Like, hey, like Mike, I got this new SKU coming up. It's coming in 60 days. The container is there. I was selling containers in pre-orders because the trust was there. Okay. So that's how you introduce a new product. Once you get your 60 odd accounts, which are trusting you, which are buying you, then you go and think about another product and pre-sell that with some samples from that distiller and get the traction, then invest in the other sort of SKU. And that's how you scale.
Okay. No. That's becoming a little bit clear now. Yeah. I mean, that leads me into the segue into the next question that I had was, again, because I was kind of wrestling with, should I go with multiple? And this new product that I actually created and collabed with down in Mexico is again, it's 100% malted corn whiskey aged in tequila barrels. We chose Tequila Ariete, so there's the popularity of that brand, and Cascahuin, which people who love tequila know that brand. We put them in those barrels. There's no other product like this, and I'm marketing it towards bourbon drinkers to expand in tequila and tequila drinkers to try whiskey. How would you position and launch this so it resonates with both trade and consumers in the United States?
So I think the right question, let me ask you, is if you knocked a retail store, if you went into the bottle shop and the bottle shop owner told you that, Jeff, where does this go? Whiskey section or tequila section? Just one answer. What comes to your mind?
Whiskey.
Because it's whiskey, first of all, right? And number one, even if it was not, I would say whiskey because it's a bigger section. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's still a evergreen category, let's say. So
Okay.
whiskey is your answer. And this is one guy's answer, okay, Jeff? You can absolutely do your own thing, but I would definitely go where the core of the product is. So you don't have to explain the theory behind it. So it's whiskey and with the edge of this. So you can tell why you're different with that answer of why you are a different whiskey. How I would sell this is why, a tequila buyer would also buy the whiskey. So then the retailers are looking for new footfalls. If you tell them that, hey, instead of Captain Morgan, buy my this, or instead of Johnny Walker, buy this, they don't, what retailers' golden pitch is a new consumer. If you can help them build a new consumer, that's the best case study. So
Gotcha.
that is, I think you can still do this with this product. Like, I think, okay, maybe I'm sure women can find this interesting as well. So like that can be your case study, tequila drinkers and whatnot. So
perfect. No, I appreciate it, Sid. And we talked about it a little bit, but I'm currently bootstrapping my, this business. And I mean, small business loans are difficult to secure without showing obviously positive capital coming in. How would you advise bringing on an investor or raising capital to maybe help scale the business while still keeping control and staying true to the brand vision?
So I think, Jeff, as a friend, I would advise just don't stretch, just don't take loans, just don't take investors. Go very small, man. Even if you have to start with a pallet, just go super small. Use the money of your supplier if they trust you. Like have credit terms, like ask for 180 days if you have to, and ask a retailer to pay you advance and give them 10% discount, let's say. So use cash flow benefits instead of this whole loan thing. And to answer your question, let's say, when to raise money. Obviously you want to build a big business, but the right time to raise money is when you need to fulfill an order, period. So if you have an order, and what would that look like? Okay, you got approved in Total Wine or Bevmo or some bigger account or Festival Foods or over there, let's say Specs. Okay, they tested you in 10 stores and now they're ready for, 48 stores or something like that, right? That's where obviously on one side, you're telling the buyer, no problem, Mike, this will be delivered. Everything is good. Life is good. On other side, what crazy thing is, right? What the timing of this opportunity is. At that time, you have to figure it out. And I'm sure you'll find the solution at that time. But that's the time to sort of raise money.
Gotcha. Okay.
So only if you have a PO. Trust me.
Yes.
Don't put money in inventory thinking. Buying is so easy. Selling is not. So when you think, let me buy this, let me buy that, you'll get tempted. You'll get super tempted. Label suppliers will tell you, bottle makers will tell you, cartons, will tell you the minimum quantity is this, Jeff, this and that. You will think that let me store labels and my next pallet, I'm going to use it, for the whole year. You will think all that, but 90% you sit on your pallet. So even if you have to pay $5 more, you tell them that I'll pay $5 more for just a pallet of bottles and $5 more for just the labels. I want to start with that. Go with that route. Don't stock your raw materials as well, even if you end up paying more.
Gotcha.
Like I've seen this. I've done myself so many times. I've seen this rodeo of brand owners, myself as well. My gin's raw materials are just pending. It's super slow.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. I mean, and like we talked about, my primary sales channel is direct to consumer, obviously using my video. In your opinion, how and when should I approach these retailers like Specs or Total Wine? Especially in a business like Texas,
So I saw that. I think you're trying D2C, right? So let me answer two questions here. One is D2C a good start or a channel, or which channel to go, a traditional route? And then I think we'll bundle up with, I think you had this of, do you use MHW Park Street model or yourself do the warehousing and compliance and all that, let's say? 100%, like without a doubt, I would say use all third-party solutions, So for example, like MHW or Park Street, those kind of model, which I'm sure you are familiar with and you're using that. And then like Speakeasy sort of thing for your D2C and whatnot, right? So now here's the answer which you may not like. D2C sounds very good in theory, but you will end up selling like 10 cases a month max. You will do so much marketing. You have the attention right now because you are not going to spend because you're going to use your channels, let's say. But
Right.
you will get the low hanging fruit once your customer and friends will buy. But after that, it's just going to be impossible. The way this whole, I'm sure you know how this Insta and YouTube and all that works. Till you don't pay ad money, nothing's going to happen, right? So that outreach for a new customer, apart from your fans, you will have to invest in paid ads. And that paid ads, my whole Gin of London was designed to be a big D2C brand, you know,
Yeah.
and I've spent so much money and so much influencer and everything I've done, let's say, but it's just tough. And on the other side, my other business that I did was completely walking with samples and knocking doors. And that's still the best route. That's what I'll end up doing. And most of the entrepreneurs who do D2C route end up doing this. Like what you hear is maybe 1 out of 1,000 brand that has succeeded, because of the unique packaging or something or the timing. But apart from that, if it's just another SKU, it's just going to be like you can't rely on that. D2C will again not. It's just a blind sort of thing. Whereas that you knocking 80 accounts, 20 will sample and 2 will say yes to you. That's a guarantee. In that, the only variable is effort.
Gotcha. Wow. Yeah. It's super interesting right now. Like we're talking about is, I'm bootstrapping this and I was looking at where to, put the money in and I was looking at marketing and having to put a lot of capital in marketing. But what would you say would be important right now? Obviously, I do believe marketing is still there and push that.
Trade marketing, 100% of
Yeah.
money should go in trade marketing, not consumer. You have done consumer things, so you will think like that. All that like $2,000 of YouTube ads and Insta ads will give you like 2 orders. You know what is trade marketing? Like what kind of trade marketing you can do? So what I mean by that is not even Wine Spectator ad. Okay, what I mean by trade marketing is giving money back to the account, to the distributor and to the sales rep and to the retailer. So it's like buy 3 cases, John, and get 6 bottle samples for free if it's legal and whatnot, let's say, right? Buy 2 cases and I'll come this Friday and do the tasting. Buy 10 cases and I'll have 4 tastings booked for you. Buy maybe 10 cases and I'll do a YouTube video saying to my audience that, hey, this wine is now available at this ABC stores. I'm here, by the way, this and that live right now. Please come over here, guys. I'm doing a tasting. Everything trade.
Gotcha. And what about, I'm in this dilemma right now about packaging. Obviously, I'm a storyteller. I'm able to use QR codes and link videos to that. Some people are telling me, Jeff, go all in on a beautiful box, tell a beautiful story. What are your thoughts on how I should package for this brand?
I'm a fan of packaging. Like, don't go cheap, invest in that. But what people don't know is how much of brands are made by trade, by retail buyers. If Specs decide to put your case stack of 25 case stack in all their stores, you are a brand in Texas in 6 months. And that's how brands are made. That is a reality. Brands are made by retail buyers, sommeliers, and bartenders still. That's where you got to invest. So, use that approach. Many techniques are there. Like, for example, in my case, when if someone was walking with a yellowtail wine, let's say in your case, someone walks in with exactly a $45 whiskey, you are standing there or you're incentivizing the clerk saying that try Jeff's whiskey. It's at 39 and much better. And then you give some incentive, like $100 Amex card if you do switch. So all that growth hacking has to happen. And the packaging story, let the trade tell. Your story will only go here and there. But if the Specs buyer or a clerk on this floor is saying, by the way, this packaging is this and that, so go beyond you in storytelling, basically. And that will make you force to think that what story is your bartender going to tell? What story is the retail buyer going to say to their customers? What is an easiest way they'll hand sell your product? And then on the shelf, if Specs obviously don't have the manpower to hand sell, let's say, your product. So what buyer like Specs would look like is, if I put this package, is it going to sell automatically? So is your shelf talker, is your case card, is your point of sale telling that story? And that's where people don't invest so much. So have this whole stack of trade materials when you're thinking about packaging. This is your Like
Gotcha.
outside box is your bottle, this is your shelf talker, this is your case card, this is your carton, this is your end cap on a grocery store. All that has to be. This is your bar mat. This is how it looks on the bar shelf. Because when you knock a door, that's what you present to them.
Gotcha. Yes. I mean, that's what really I'm trying to figure out is what, is approaching retailers like Total Wine and Specs. And I see they have a website with new products. You send them and they taste it. But how can I, in your opinion, well, first, what factors really drive their decision to take on a small brand? You've named some of them, but can you focus on my brand in particular and how I can leverage them to help me get shelf space, maybe utilize my media assets to bring in a total different shopping experience to consumers? Is that something that you would say, Jeff,
absolutely.
in that?
100%. You can use your video skills. My pitch was very simple that, hey, buy one case, I'll come this Friday. And that Friday, I blow out that case and I'll say, buy three case, I'll come next Friday, and so on. You can do the same thing. Instead of tasting, you can say, I'll come here and do a video saying that we are here, see here, this and that. And I'm doing tasting and recording that. And you can say pre-buzz, post-buzz, and at the side buzz. It's even amazing. Imagine that, that, hey, now here, pre. So you make a package and you put that as a spiel to any buyer. Like, okay, buy three cases, you get this package, pre, live, and post. Buy 6 bottles to start with. I'll come here and do a small clip here as well. How they will measure you is not what you're doing. How they'll measure you is did they get sell through.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what you have to prove with the content, basically. Did consumer came because of you? If a new person walks in and just tells in front of that retailer saying, hey, Jeff, I came in because I saw your video and you were there and the buyer is there, boom, done. Job is done. Right. Yeah. So you want to focus on those kind of things. Here's one thing which I came to my mind, which one of my distributor made me do that. And that was a very nice formula that you can apply. So what they did is, we wanted to go in the retail stores, let's say XYZ. It doesn't have to be Spec. Spec is a big fish you're trying for, but let's say small mom and pop stores of Texas, for example, right? So you find a couple of restaurants or bars, let's say bars first, and then do a little small event there. Okay, with your video thing, you tell them that, okay, I'm doing a small tasting here, Mr. Bar owner, you buy this and we'll do a small pop-up event and call consumers with my content. Then you call the consumers and tell the consumers that, where do you shop, by the way? So Christy says, I shop at this store. Rebecca says, I'll shop at this store. And you say, hey, if I told the buyer that you would buy from that store, would you be able to pre-order, fill this form and say, you will buy my bottle from that store. And then next day I walked into the store, walking with a pre-order form saying, if you had 10 pre-order forms for that store, guarantee that guy will order. And then you say, okay, here's the 10 bottles, order one case. And then you call that customers that spoke with you that, hey, by the way, we are now in this store. So please go and make the purchase and then create that loop. So these are the growth hacking things we have to do, basically. So you have the customer, right? Now, what you're trying to do is you calling the customer in the bar, again, to recap. So that bar owner wins because they're going to have cocktail. And then you're getting the pre-order from the customer and saying, hey, just shop at your regular store. All I want is you love this. You only told me, all I'm asking is, would you buy this Friday for the weekend, my whiskey, right? And then you tell the retailer next day that this person, I have a pre-customer. So retailers like to know, and they know already that, hey, Rebecca buys from my store. I know her, and now this and that, right? So that's the best pitch, basically, getting pre-orders for the retailer. That's number one. Second thing is, as I said, walking with your story, your origin story, and you have a solid opening line. Like the moment you say, this kind of things, like they will just listen to you. So for sure. Now the second case is, what's your profit story? Like why they should trust you, and how will you create a sell through? And that also you're backing them up, right? You're saying that I'll come, I'll blow the product, and support all that. So I think those things again, in a disciplined way is the best approach. So, I like in cold calling, there is a sort of first job, which I did selling ADT security systems, door knocking residentials. I'm talking about like 25 years ago. So my team leader told me this: SW, 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 who's next? Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? Right?
Wow.
You build a scalable business by that formula. Nothing else matters. No specs, nothing. Keep knocking. Some will, some won't. So what? Who's next? Right? So I think that's where you need to face your fears. You need to be the sales guy. You need to just keep knocking, keep knocking, keep knocking. And trust me, it's just, you will start getting yeses more than what you think. People don't knock doors. Like founders don't knock these days. Retailers like it, when you walk in.
I'm up for the challenge. I need those little pep talks, Sid. I love it. I love it. I'm ready to get after it. And what I've taken from this, again, originally before this conversation, I was really focusing on DTC. What I'm kind of taking away is look, still focus that.
D2C is, you will remember, Jeff, you will try D2C, but it's just not going to, it's not going to, I hope it works. Like it will work because you're going to put it on your YouTube and Insta immediately buy now. Let's say it may work like that. But apart from you, it may not work.
Gotcha. No, I definitely understand the retail aspect, obviously hitting the big retail giants, here, especially in the state of Texas, like Specs or Total Wine. But what do you think of in parallel, hitting the boutique stores too as well, the spirit stores?
I think it's not parallel. You'll have to start there. You are being ambitious by thinking Specs.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to even know who the buyer is of Specs. Second, to even do FaceTime with that. I paid $5,000 easy to meet Kroger's buyer. So the value of that buyer of that size is very high. People don't know that, but the access, the gatekeepers, and the pitch time, the programming that they'll ask you, we can't afford right now. So the best approach is start with bars, start with small independent craft stores, and then start using name dropping that, I'm sure there are bars who support, let's say, vets, right? So you will go there, you will sort of have here, and then you'll name drop that, hey, by the way, I'm here. So I'll give you a little strategy there if you're asking about how to grow retail, let's say. So what you need is get 6 or 7 different kind of retail buyers and bars. Okay. So what I did is for my wine, let's say in a state of Delaware, so you find a very high-end merchant, which is in the poshest area of let's say, your state or your area, which is in the most expensive neighborhood, for example, and is the most expensive whiskey store. So that will eliminate your quality obstacle when you name drop that. Hey, my whiskey is in this store. So the quality objection is gone. Let's say Frank buys from me. So the Frank is like snooty buyer of whiskey, connoisseur, and da-da-da. So so that way you've taken care of the quality. Now you go in the big discount store, like a big discount store. And then over there, you're selling your like 25K stack, do whatever it takes to support that retailer. Let's say give discounts, give deep deal, but have your 25K stack there because that guy is used for different purpose. If your 25K stack is in that retail store, and you are backing the guy up like anything, the entire trade community will start talking, that, hey, what's this new whiskey? What, this and that. And then that store is going to build consumers like anything, like depletions, will happen. So use that for that, let's say. Then there is a big famous bar, get a house pour there. So you name drop that. Hey, by the way, we are here. So my wine was in Cipriani Wall Street, which is one of the finest restaurants of New York, let's say. And my wine was $6.99. So when I say to people that it was in the highest level of steakhouse, and that was Australian house wine there, people know that quality is there, and I'm name dropping again, right? So try to get 3 or 4 amazing bars that the whole city knows, and then you just sort of give deals, but at least use it for opening up other bars. So you got to have this 5 or 6 sort of accounts by hook or crook, get in there, and then start putting that in your sort of spiel, for your cold calling. So that's how I would advise to have different personas and then grow on those personas. Okay.
No, and my last question, Sid, is basically, obviously metrics of success of what you've seen given your extensive time in the industry. Obviously, I know right now I'm starting up, bootstrapping, sell through, right? Just start selling. But I've also heard numbers out there, you got to sell at X amount, a percentage to make a profit per bottle. You got to sell 5,000 bottles a year to be this. Are there any, metrics that you've seen over time, given, the 1 to 3, 3 to 5 to be able to scale up and have a sustainable business that you could share? Or is it just, look, you just sell like you're saying, and those metrics will come through. Don't need to worry about trying to set this mark or this mark or this mark.
What I'm saying is, if you're making profit on your first order, and if you maintain, then you will make money. There is no doubt about it. If every day is a profitable day, even if it was one bottle or one case or 100 cases, you will end up making money. So the follow-up question on that would be, there are no metrics because it's wrong metrics. You got to make day-to-day profits. And day-to-day, every order has to be a profitable order. So for what I'm trying to say here is, go on, like, say 35%. If it's costing you $30, try to sell it at $49 to the retail, and then you got to keep sort of $10 or something for the deals and programming and support. Now, here's the good news. I've asked this question to trillions of retailers. So my question was this. Okay, if I sold you at $45, or even a distributor, if I sold you at $45 and said bye-bye, or if I sold you at $55 and came here Friday and Saturday and did a tasting and did this and that for you and did this and that for you, what would you prefer? They will say 55 any day. So they don't mind paying more. They don't mind. That's the thing people don't understand. No one minds. If it sells, everyone makes money. This price means nothing if it's just sitting there for even them. Yes. What you have to understand is, you make 50% from day one and keep 10% margins from the profit for support. And that's a much better pricing model than a retailer saying too expensive, this and that. Yes, it is too expensive. Don't discount it. Rather, you tell them that, hey, you know what? Let me do this thing for you. I'll come here Friday and sell it. I don't want to discount the price. Let's sell this. Let's build the brand at $49. So they'll buy that more instead of going, okay, I'll do $44 instead of $49. So try to keep the margins super high. Like, I would say 50%. A price for a new brand, Jeff, means nothing. Like, if you were Johnny Walker or Diageo or something, it affects you. Because it's in the customer's mind that it's $34 for Johnny Walker. And if you change here and there, it's going to disrupt things. But you were just making up a price. We all know how this pricing of this industry works. It's jack shit. It's nothing. Like, I have no idea of what a cost of $80 whiskeys or $40 whiskeys. We all know that, right? So make up, but keep the money from day one.
Gotcha. No, Sid, like I said, this past 30 or so minutes have been, wow, absolutely amazing. Really, really appreciate all this insight from you. And I hope other people can get something by watching it either through.
Let me add one thing. I appreciate, I don't want to discourage you here in any way, by the way. It's you should be happy you are trying a new business. So please don't take this as a sort of a challenge. In fact, putting very clearly that I know where you will end up. And if you dislike what I'm saying, it's not going to work, because the real businesses are built, the brands are built purely on streets.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is exactly why I reached out to you. Because I need to hear this. I need to understand this, because I'm in uncharted territories. I need to talk to people a lot smarter than me on this.
Talk to buyers. You know what? Best is talk like super best. Like, when I want to launch any new idea or any new customers these days, I don't talk to friends. I don't talk to my wife. I don't talk to anyone. I just talk to potential customers. That's the best thing. Nothing else matters. So why don't you go to 10 retail stores tomorrow? Say, hey, by the way, I'm thinking like this. Hey, can I pick your brains on this idea, Mr. Retailer? What do you think? Is this category good? The same questions you're asking me, ask those guys.
Yep. Gotcha.
Best. That's the best thing. They'll say, you know what? Let me come back to you and show you the package. So make them your case study, because you'll need them. Those are the people you ask questions. You come up with your first package, you show them. That's what I did. You ask the actual trade buyer that this is a package I'm thinking. What do you think? And then you say, can I ask your customer, by the way, who's walking and on that whiskey aisle, hey, what do you think? Those are the things. That's where you do market research.
Gotcha.
And you can use that to your advantage. I mean, right? So you're building, pre-warming up your accounts.
Yeah. Exactly.